So, myself, Tanya Mujumdar, and I'm the Department of MSc Physics first sem. So, today's my topic is biomass energy conservation. So, what do you mean by a biomass energy? That bioenergy is a renewable energy made available for the material derived from the biological source. Biomass is an organic material, may include wood waste, straws, manure, sugar canes, and many other byproducts from the variety of agricultural process. Biomass. So, biomass is an organic material produced by plants, terrestrials, and aquatics, and they derives its include. The first point is forest crops and residues. Second point, crops specially grows from energy farms for the energy content. And the third point is the animals manure. My third slide is biomass energy. The biomass continues to the account for the estimate one third of the primary energy used by in the poor countries of 90% of the energy supplied by biomass. Biomass energy or bioenergy is the conservation of biomass, that is, an organic material organization for plants, trees, and crops, and especially the collection and stores of the sun's energy through photosynthesis into useful forms and energies such heat, electricity, and liquid fuels. There are some types of biomass, that is, the wood fuel, rubbish, alcohol, fuels, crops, landfill, gases. The first, there are some technologies of the biomass energy conservation. That is, the first process is conversion, the second process is gasification, the third process is aromatization, and the last process is the liquid biofuel. This is the big project of the Deen Bandhu biogas project model. The present state, there is some criteria of the biomass energy in India. That is 3,500 megawatt of the power generation through biogas based on the co-generation is sugar mill. 537 megawatt has so far commissioned. 536 megawatt is under installation. This is the process of anaerobic digestion which has been implemented in 2007 in Germany. So, what do you mean by a biomass? How it will work? There are some basic criteria which has been included in our earth. That is a methane, which is CH4, 50 to 75% that has been implemented in our earth. Carbon dioxide 25 to 50%, nitrogen 0 to 10%, hydrogen 0 to 1%, hydrogen sulfide 0 to 3%, and the oxygen which is 0%. Some basic advantages of biomass energy, that is it is an indigenous source, improve the fertility of the soil, commercial use of the biomass, and the economic development opportunities in the rural area. Environmental advantages, that is the first, a renewable source, reduce landslide, methane, carbon dioxide, reduce the greenhouse gases, reduce acid rains and smoke, protect clean and water supplies. Some basic disadvantages of the biomass energy, that it's often of the low energy density, it is dispersed and long intensive as a source, it is a labor intensive and the cost of collection large quantity for commercial application is significant. Some fuel properties of biogas, some basic application, that is an aerobic digestion, is used for the efficient and sewage treatment. Anaerobic digestion is a simple process that can greatly reduce the amount of the organic matter which is might otherwise be the designated to be a landfill or burnt in an incinerator. Almost any organic matter can be processed with an organic digestion that include the biodegradable waste materials such as waste power, grasses, clippings, leftover food, sewages, and animal waste. The last point is that anaerobic digestion can also be fed, also specially grow for energy crops such as silage for dedicated biogas production. So that's it. Thank you.
Any question?
Any question? From our people can start.
Thank you, Tanya. Our next speaker, Puntasha, MSc First Sem, Department of Physics.
Good morning, everyone. I am Satyasha Mandapalchai, studying MSc of Physics Department. First sem. So, the topic of my discussion is geothermal energy. What we mean by geothermal energy? It's derived from a Latin term, geo, which means heat, and thermos, which means thermal. Heat, and then geo means earth. The energy which we generate from the earth is known as geothermal energy. It's generally a heat energy. Thermal energy in the rock and fluids that fills fractures and pores within the rock of the earth's crust. It's generally the temperature inside the earth is much higher than the temperature of the sun. It's about 4,000 degrees centigrade. So generally, in the Earth's crust is the center of the Earth's crust is mainly made up of molten lava. How is geothermal energy generated? The temperature hotter than sun's surface are continuously produced inside the Earth by slow decay of a radioactive particles. What do we mean by radioactive particles? The particles which show radioactive properties, like they emit alpha, beta, and gamma rays, are generally made of radioactive particles. The most common methods which scientists use to find geothermal reservoir is drilling a deep well and testing the temperature deep underground. The stream or very hot water from deep inside the earth is piped out from the center of the earth to the surface as a heat source to produce electricity. Earth's kinetic energy is converted in turn of electricity. What are the different sources of geothermal energy? In the present slide, we are seeing the different sources of geothermal energy. First is hot water reservoir. Second is natural stem reservoir. Third is geopressure reservoir. Normal geothermal gradient, hot dry rock, and molten magma. Direct use of geothermal energy which is appropriate for sources below 150 degrees centigrade. It can be used in resorts and pools. It can be used in greenhouses. It can be even used in agriculture. Here the spelling of agriculture is also wrong. Okay, it can be used in melting snows, etc. The indirect use of electricity production is can be indirect uses of geothermal energy can be electricity production. Here, a structure of electricity production has been given. Here, the source temperature is for the indirect use of electricity production. Some criteria have been given, which is the source temperature should be higher than 150 degrees centigrade. It generally takes place when the heat present in a deeper surface of depth of 3 to 5 kilometer. However, in the specified areas, one does not need to drill that deep. Now, there are many prospects of geothermal energy in India where we are still lacking as compared to other countries of the world. First is about 6.5% electricity generation in the world is geothermal energy, but it can be increased to much greater percentage. Geological surveys of India has identified about 340 geothermal hot springs, among which we only are presently using 50 or 100. It has been grouped in seven thermal provinces like in Himalaya, Sahara Valleys, Son Narmada Tapi, etc. New locations of geothermal power energy has also been used in found of Tapani, Chhattisgarh. Indian geothermal plant is also comes up in Chandigarh. Here, the map has been shown. Here, we can clearly see in Jammu and Kashmir region, it's very much effective in geothermal energy for the extracting. But due to the military conditions and other factors, we are not easily able to extract the geothermal energy as desired. But we are getting at a less range. Moreover, we can see that in the Godavari basin, also there is a source where geothermal energy can easily be obtained. Now we are learning about advantages and disadvantages. What are the advantages? Solar energy is very effective, and almost all of us know about solar energy. But solar energy depends upon the climatic conditions. But in geothermal energy, the climatic conditions is not being effective. Is generally the extraction is generally environmental friendly and non-polluting, and most important is a renewable source of energy. And it can be many disadvantages also. Suppose it can result into eruption of volcanoes. There can be no criteria that whether there can be no criteria whether the energy which we are producing is cost effective or not. In some cases, the cost will be much more as compared to other places. Therefore, it can be a disadvantage. Moreover, another disadvantage can we can have no we do not have some modern technologies from which we can get this. Okay, this was my presentation. Thank you.
Any question?
Any questions?
My question is, means we are talking about geothermal energy, and that is the energy is coming from the molten rock that is being inside the earth.
Awesome.
So means when volcanic eruptions or that kind of things happen, so basically the lava is coming and it has huge amount of heat and the gases that are coming, they are also very much heated. So can we do something? Means has anything been done to draw that energy and put into use?
Yes, according to me, the that energy we can draw. But now you see in the newspapers how many volcanic eruptions occur.
Not
But
much.
can we predict the time this time the volcanic eruption is occurring? Moreover, it will be not cost effective because we are setting up it is after the 100 years eruption will occur. At that time the machines will be rusted.
Basically, the use won't be.
Effective. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Give my information about the geothermal energy. What is the energy generations? What are the major sites in India? Okay. So thank you, Professor. Our next speaker is from ABC First Sem, Department of Physics. Hello everyone. I am Shona from Hello everyone. I am Shruti Krishna from ABC Physics first semester. Now, today I am going to discuss about renewable energy sources. These are my brief flow of presentation. Now, introduction. Energy is possibly the most versatile tool in human civilization. The story of human progress from nomadic hunter-gatherer to smartphone holding urbanite is the story of energy. Harnessing alternative sources of energy led to a proliferation of technologies that provided better heating, lighting, power, and transport, and ultimately led to the high energy world of today. Energy sources in the world. Inter-energy sources in the world can be classified into two parts: conventional or non-renewable energy sources and non-conventional or renewable energy sources. The proportion for energy consumption by different sources is shown in figure 2. Now, I am going to discuss about some non-renewable energy sources. The different conventional or non-renewable energy sources are coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. Now, coal is mostly carbon with variable amount of other elements, chiefly hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen, and nitrogen. Petroleum is commonly defined into various types of fuels. Components of petroleum are separated using a method called fractional distillation. Natural gas. Natural gas is a naturally occurring hydrocarbon gas mixture consisting primarily of methane, but commonly including varying amounts of other higher alkanes and sometimes a small percentage of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, hydrogen sulfide, or helium. Impact of non-renewable energy sources on atmosphere. A carbon footprint is the total greenhouse gas emission caused by an individual, event, organization, service place, or product expressed as carbon dioxide equivalent. Carbon emission to the atmosphere can be classified into two parts: direct carbon emission and indirect carbon emissions. Now, direct carbon emission. Direct carbon emissions come from sources that are directly from the site, that is, producing a product or delivering a service. An example for industry would be the emission related to burning a fuel on site. On the individual level, emissions from personal vehicles or gas burning stoves would fall under direct carbon emissions. Now, indirect carbon emissions. Examples of indirect carbon emissions are transportation of materials or fuels. Second, any energy used outside of the production facility, etc. Due to the serious negative impact of non-renewable energy sources on atmosphere, people have thought about new types of energy. From that viewpoint, the concept of renewable energy sources have been evolved. Renewable energy sources can be thought about remedy for conventional sources or non-renewable energy sources. Now, renewable energy sources. Non-conventional or renewable energy is useful energy that is collected from renewable resources, which are naturally replenished on a human time scale, including carbon natural sources like sunlight, wind, rain, tides, oil, and geothermal heat. While many renewable energy projects are large scale, renewable technologies are also suited to rural and remote areas and developing countries where energy is often crucial in human development. In the next section, various types of renewable energy will be discussed. Now, wind power. At the end of
2020, worldwide installed wind power capacity was 733 gigawatt. Airflow can be used to run wind turbines. Modern utility scale wind turbines range from around 600 kilowatt to 9 megawatt of rated power. Areas where winds are stronger and more constant, such as offshore and high altitude sites, are preferred locations for wind farms. Wind generated electricity made nearly 4% of global electricity demand in 2015, with nearly 63 gigawatt of new wind power capacity installed. Now hydropower. Hydropower, also known as water power, is the use of falling or fast running water to produce electricity or to power machine. This is achieved by converting the kinetic energy of water into electrical or mechanical energy. International institution like World Bank consider hydropower as a low carbon source for economic development. Hydroelectricity is the biggest application of hydropower. Hydroelectricity generates about 50% of global electricity and provides at least 50% of total electricity supply for more than 35 countries. Now, solar energy. Solar energy is an essential source of renewable energy, and its technologies are broadly categorized as either passive solar or active solar, depending on how they capture and distribute solar energy or convert it into solar power. The heart of the technology of solar power is the solar cell. Now, a solar cell is an electrical device that converts the energy of light directly into electricity by the photovoltaic effect, which is a physical and chemical phenomenon. Now, the second is solar power aircraft. Solar Impulse is long-range experimental solar power aircraft project, and also the name of the project's two operational aircrafts. The aircraft is a single-seated monoplane powered by photovoltaic cells. It is capable of taking off under its own power. The prototype, often referred to as Solar Impulse 1, was designed to remain airborne up to 36 hours. It conducted its first test flight in December 2009. Now, geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is heat that is generated within the earth. About 2,900 kilometers below the earth's crust or surface is the hottest part of our planet, the core. A small portion of the core's heat comes from the friction and gravitational pull formed when Earth was created more than 4 billion years ago. However, the vast majority of Earth's heat is constantly generated by the decay of radioactive isotopes, such as potassium 40 and thorium 232. Now, economic aspects of renewable energy. This picture represents solar tree developed by CMERI Dugamur. Now the conclusion is global warming is possibly the most severe issue regarding the health of our planet. The increased amount of carbon emission by the conventional energy sources is the primary reason behind global warming. Currently, it is very crucial for us to move towards the non-conventional energy sources, but the development of supporting infrastructure for these sources is a time-consuming aspect. These are the references, and thank you.
Next, faculty of this department will present this presentation. So we go. Good afternoon, everyone. On this day of energy conservation, I'm going to talk about the waste to energy, how the energy is generated from waste material. Okay, overall, the growth of economic, like growing industry, urbanization, and changing in lifestyle produce a huge number of trash, which put the environment at great risk. In a report, says that the India generate about 62 million tons of waste each year. About 43 million tons of them are collected, and of which about 12 million tons are treated, and 31 million tons are dumped in the landfill site. With changing consumption pattern and rapid economic growth, it is estimated that the urban municipal solid waste generation will increase to 165 million tons in 2030, and that impacts on our Earth also, and that causes the climate change, that affects on our health and also health of environment, and that also increase the radioactivity. Next, what types of waste is found on the in found? Like solid waste, like vegetable waste, kitchen waste, some, household waste, e-waste like discarded electronic device such as computer, TV, and music system. The liquid waste like water used in different industry, thermal power plant, plastic waste like plastic bag, bottles, buckets, meter waste, unused meter sheet, meter scrap, etc., and nuclear waste, unused material from the nuclear power plant. Now, what is waste to energy? The waste to energy is the process of generating energy in the form of electricity or heat from the primary treatment of waste. And the waste to energy is a form of a energy recovery. And then it can produce electricity or heat directly through combustion or produce a combustible fluid, a fuel such as methane, methanol, and ethanol or synthetic fuels. There are few types of technology to generate waste energy from waste, such as first one is incineration. In this process, the conversion of waste of energy recovery, and it can reduce the volume of the original waste by 95 to 96% depending upon the composition of the and degree of recovery of waste, such as meters from the ash of the waste, and it can generate the it has the efficiency of electricity generation of 14 to 28%. Next one is the gasification. In this process, the that converts the organic or fossil fuel based on carbon material into carbon monoxide, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide. It is reacted at a high temperature, such nearly equal to 700 degrees C, without combustion, with a controlled amount of oxygen or steam. And another one is the pyrolysis. In this process, the thermochemical decomposition of organic material at elevated temperature in the absence of oxygen is happen. And in this process is used to convert the plastic and tire waste into fuel. What are the advantages of waste to energy? And number one is reduce risks associated with the landfill, because waste is generated from energy. That's why there is no waste is available in the landfill. So it reduces the risk of associated with the landfill. It can additional source of revenue. That's why it can generate the stable economy in our society. It can reduce petroleum dependence. It helps to meet alternative fuels, and also reduce the risk of contaminated groundwater. Conclusion: if a country generates electricity by this method or technology, it will be one of the best solution for economy. And also, this technology generating electricity is always helpful, less harmful for environment, and also it's make the environment clean. Any question?
Any question? How much electricity in India is produced from waste energy?
Huh?
From
Electricity.
waste man. How much energy is produced from waste?
2000 what? Per year? I have no idea. 6,000
Megawatt.
megawatt.
Thank you, Shobik, for your great presentation. Next one, Deepa Oja. Deepa Oja.
So,
ठीक है एक पोस्टर से तो पोस्टर से क्या करेगी वो
पोस्टर वो पोस्टर में एक्सप्लेन करना है कुछ पॉइंट्स
सो उतना ही बोलो
हाँ
वो दिया एक्सप्लेन दिया
We are given in the copy.
no sir I just wrote some point actually basically
there are questions.
राइट राइट राइट
Good afternoon, everybody, the teachers and my friends. Actually, this year, first of all, I want to say Happy Energy Conservation Day. So, first, some of the topics that were given to us, the topics were global warming. So, what is exactly global warming? We have to realize that it is not it is not a prediction that someone is saying that global warming is going to be happening in some years or some decades. No, it is actually happening, and it has been happening from over means at least 10 decades or something. So we have to look and find ways and initiatives how we can generate clean energy and clean air and live sustainably, so that we can means at least reduce. We can't whatever amount of global warming has been generated. We can't just nullify everything. So we have to find ways to lower that. Next point was climate change. So climate change is basically a consequence of global warming. What exactly is climate change, and how means why should we be tested about climate change? When climate changes, suddenly the overall world average temperature that rises, and we know means as the temperature rises, the polar ice caps they start melting. So first of all, the people who will be affected are the people who are living in islands or the people in the low coastal areas and the Antarctic area animals. So we should so that is a point that we should keep in mind. And next is if we think about starting a movement, so what should it be? It means should it be green earth? So what is exactly green earth movement? So we want to make the earth green. So basically we will think, okay, no, not the green earth. We have to first try to make a continent green. So what is means a continent basically comprises of states and cities. So then we come to the point, no, we have to exactly make the cities green. And how can we make the cities green? Then we'll think that whatever campuses are there, so we have to make a campus green. So how can a campus be green? Means whatever faculties and departments we have, we can start. We can take initiatives and we can
We can make community gardens in which we can plant organic plants and etc. That will also help us to elevate our knowledge towards the plants. And next is, if we think from a point of view, what is sustainable living? So sustainable living is a living that if we are utilizing clean energy in our day-to-day life and not exactly burning fossil fuels or petroleum, so that way we produce clean energy and we utilize that in our daily life. So that can be done by using rental bikes and using transportations that do not run on petroleum or coals, etc. Well, next is, what are the changes that we can do in our campus so that in that way we will be promoting sustainable living and clean energy and green campus. There are many balconies in our college, so we can make green balconies, and there is a huge rooftop. So first of all, we will think that okay, we can make a solar rooftop, but the amount of that installation would be very high. So since we are from the physics department and BTech CNC, so a very nice initiative and a solution will be to try to find a way how can we make cheaper solar panels so that those can be just not talked about but also executed and installed in our campus. And we can also implant solar trees and solar shades. And that's last thing I want to say is basically green campus is nothing just by installing and putting a huge amount of investing huge amount of loans and money, and just making the campus green and planting trees, rooftops won't make the problem of global warming go away. So each one of us who are in the campus should take initiatives and also make that a way of living. They should plant trees. They should also promote their coming generations and their locality about how we should be saving energies and not wasting that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Lima, for your great informative presentation. Next, Manish Gupta. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. Manish, স্লিপে চলে যাবে স্লিপে যাবে স্লিপ বন্ধ করো
Extending gratitude to respected HOD, faculties, and my dear friends. Today, I, Manish Gupta, on behalf of my team, BTech first year student, is going to represent our presentation on energy saving LED bulbs. From the dawn of the mankind, uh, light has been resource that we use to extend out the social order even after the sunset. So the bonfire has become light bulbs, but our priorities are still same. Lighting represents 20% of the global consumption. Traditional incandescent bulbs use a lot of energy to produce light and are no longer manufactured. 90% of the energy is given off as heat. The lost energy is money we are throwing away. Three of the most common energy efficient lighting types include halogen incandescent CFLs, and LEDs. LED use only 20 to 25% of the energy and last up to 25 times longer than the traditional incandescent bulbs. They replace LED use 25 to 35% of the energy and last up to 8 to 25 times longer than the hydrogen incandescent bulb. LED are currently available in many products such as replacement for 3 watt, 4 watt, 5 watt, 6 watt, 10 watt, and 12 watt types of bulb. Reflector bulbs often used in process fixtures, track lights, and as decorations and in many houses also. There are many different applications for instance modern household equipment as said, headlight, brake lights in automobiles, street lights, interior household, illumination and hospital diagnostic and treatment room. LED lighting is very different from any other lighting sources such as incandescent and CFL. Making several LEDs in a specific LED bulb. There are three lights: red, green, blue. Diodes are mounted on a PCB board. Then it is connected to the rest of the circuit consisting of resistors and capacitors. After that, the whole board is attached to a heat sink made of aluminium to minimize the heat and early degradation so that the bulb can last long. At last, inside a plastic housing, it is attached to a diffuser or cap. Efficiency. Till now, we have traditional incandescent bulb uses lot of energy to produce light. Remember those bright filament made of tungsten wire take many units of electricity that goes in vain to light up. 90% of the energy is given off as heat. That lost energy takes huge money to light it up. Energy efficient lighting types such as hydrogen incandescent and LEDs. LED lighting is very different from other lighting sources such as incandescent bulb and CFLs. Key differences include the following light sources. Efficiency. As we can see in diagram, LED take very much low power to emit the brightest lumens as compared to the halogen and CFL LED. 4 watt of LED can emit the same 200 lumens than the standard bulbs of incandescent. It lasts long, up to 25,000 hours than regular incandescent bulb 1000 hours. If we use in our house or daily household, the electrical consumption also goes down and it can be minimized up to 106 rupees per year that we use incandescent to 130 rupees per year. Conclusion. Conserving energy results in lower living expenses, energy savings, and leads to a healthy and better environment. Along with economically, it helps to protect environment from excess resource and carbon dioxide emissions. This is our digital poster that we have made. And last, thank you.
Have any question? Anybody?
You have any?
Clear क्या मनीष?
Yes.
Actually, your point about the LED is great. LED having a less amount of energy consumption. But what about the wastage developed from the LEDs?
Yeah, actually, it's just the starting point of our development. It will take some years to
Are you
develop.
developing the LED?
Yeah.
Are you developing LED?
No, but it's still the development is going on. Just like we have a smartphone camera.
At the time we are discussing about the energy conservation, so we should focus on the energy conservation. How far LED can be changed as a
Yeah, actually, I have a stat. Actually, it is not included in PPT. That's what I'm saying. According to the estimations from International Energy Association, this period from 2020 to 2021, around 24 billion joules of energy is saved. But if we can use LED instead of, I'm just talking about that lighting, it's just 20% of the global consumption. But if we use LED, around 500 billion joules of energy we can conserve. That 476 billion joules can light up entire European houses. So that's why I'm talking about LED bulbs.
And so the way
Actually, I forget to.
it can be, we can make gardens and parks.
Yeah.
It's not just solar park, but also electronic based park, like a rock art.
right? electronic waste management. Thank you for your very good presentation.
Thank you, sir, for giving
And
me
one more, don't use that font in PPT presentation.
Thank you.
That font. Now, thank you, man. Again, one project. Don't use that font. No, 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 no. That font.
Thank you very much for your English
I had a
presentation.
good.
Very
No.
good presentation.
Actually, sir, we have also made a poster there, sir, that is more accurate.
Yes.
Are you going to explain the poster or anything on that same topic?
Actually, sir, we are confused a lot previously, just about yesterday, and we do whatever we can do, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please Chakraborty. Please come on the stage for presentation.
ये वो कनेक्ट कैसे करेंगे बोला
लैपटॉप से
अब लेके अरे हाँ, लेके
वो हम लोग के लिए है, मैडम में नहीं है ना, उसके पास प्रीतेश
Good morning, everybody. I want to speak on the topic of World Energy Conservation Day, which is today, the 14th of December, and it's a day we are celebrating as our Earth is slowly the temperature is dying. We are in the 22nd century and we are still struggling with the problem of energy, which is a years long problem. In the year 1991, which was first declared. So, why do we celebrate the World Energy Conservation Day? It was to make aware of the masses what is the importance of energy conservation. Why do we need energy to power all our appliances throughout the planet? We need energy to move around, to do all our daily chores and everything. So, how was it invented? It was first decided by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency in 2001. It is a national body that comes under the government of India and helps in the development of policies and strategies to reduce the energy uses. So why do we conserve energy? And why do we celebrate this conservation day? What is the importance of conservation of energy? Conserving energy undoubtedly shows a better quality of life. Lowering carbon emission means cleaner air, healthier planets, and saving our limited resources so we can live longer and thrive a better life. What are the some examples of energy conservation? Examples of energy conservation are anything from unplugging appliances when not in use, switching off extra lights in the room, and taking public transport instead of driving. Every little step that we do individually can lead to a better planet and more conserved planet. Why do we celebrate National Energy Conservation Day? National Energy Conservation Day showcases Indian ideal milestone in energy saving while planning hostile development strategies in for the future. So as here, China is the highest wind energy conservation. China produces 466 megawatts of energy each year. The for this conservation in 1992 there was a new hope of conserving the energy for increasing our stay on the planet so that we can thrive longer, make it a more bearable to be living on this earth. In May of 2015, the future was here. We were investing our minds in our resources on saving energy. In January 2016, we were more enthusiastic in the saving of this planet. We were more towards to conserving energy, to using natural resources. And by 22, we had planned to save the planet in a very stylish way with na- using renewable energy. So, what is energy? Scientists define energy as the capacity of accomplish work. Modern civilization is possible because people have learned how to change energy from one to another and use it to do our work, to do it in efficiently without much manual labor. Energy conservation. Energy conservation is the determination and practice of utilizing minor power, turning off lights when we exit a room, cleaning appliances when not in use, walking instead of driving, and all other energy conservation. We can even consider fueling our machines properly, using lubricants to make our frictions decreasing, and every other small minor details so that we can conserve our energy. Benefits of energy efficiency. We can save money, reduce greenhouse emission, create jobs, meet growing energy demands of the future. Why 14th December is celebrated as World Energy Conservation Day to make people aware of climate change, global warming, the need to conserve energy. 14th December is celebrated as the National Energy Conservation Day of India every year. Here are five US wind power productions. So as you can see, Texas produces 28,843 megawatts of energy. Iota, the California, there are all the leading US energy, wind power energy producers. Energy transformation, we can convert chemical energy into motion, radiate to chemical.
Like previous slide, this slide should be replaced by five states of India.
I mean, I think it's downloaded from slides.
What?
No, no, yeah.
You are using open source. Open source. We, it's not self source.
Electrical to thermal, chemical to motion. These are all the ways we use the natural energies to benefit ourselves. Moving our cars, heating our rooms, moving this light so is even the benefit of energy conserving which we are sourcing from the energy producers in locally. How do we celebrate World Energy Conservation Day? Replace your light bulbs, educate a child about it, volunteer in your community. If we make people aware that what energy conservation would be, they will be interested to look into it and also do the necessary steps to make a better, brighter future and a more carbon free future. Why World Energy? Why Why World Energy Conservation Day is important? Energy has a responsibility. India has a large role to play, the domino effect. So, as everyone in this world uses energy, and everybody from a very poor person to the highest billionaire, everybody has a part to play. India, being the second largest populated country in the world, has one of the biggest parts to play because we use our resources very unchecked, because when we are in a big factory, there are very safety precautions, but in a small scale factory, there are no much dignified safety precautions, and they use their energy very unresponsibly. They are burning wood and leaving the gases into the air unfiltered. They are throwing their garbage into the river, which is much causes of pollution and thus polluting the environment. And when we are doing this, we might not feel something today, but after a few thousand years, or maybe not thousand, a few hundred years, we will see the effect. We will be the person who we will, our generations to come will face the consequences of our mistakes, not we. So that is, we are harming our future.
And can I ask a question? After this, after the question.
How can we help? Eliminate unnecessary use of fans, lights, heater, or electrical instruments. Prevent the wasteful expenditure of water on all scales, on big, small. Discourage the use of fossil fuels, coals, and natural gas, and use renewable sources. Replace current lighting and electrical equipment with more efficient alternatives. So when we are going outside a room, we are leaving the fan on. Like, we are not using our things responsibly. We should be using the maximum efficiency lights and using them also very efficiently, because many of the street lights there are like whole night they're on. There should be motion detected street lights which could go on when a person comes or when necessary, because lot of energy is wasted to decorations and something like this. Decorations is not what we need. We are thriving because what we need, decorations is like what we could think looks good, but that's not we need, because many people live in the dark and some are in a full lit up room in a big bungalow which is lit up, but few people are thriving in the dark. So we should be distributing them more properly so that everybody gets what they need. We should not waste anything. And using of natural renewable energy is because the sun every day produces millions of megawatts of energy, and the more efficiently we use it, it will be the better of us. We are producing global energy, but the heating of the sun could be used by more solar panels to use in fans, lights, but we are not. We are letting it absorb and strike back to make the earth warmer, but we should use it to make more energy with the help of more solar panels. So
15
there
minutes has
are
expired. 15 minutes has gone.
renewable energy and non-renewable energy. So there are the four types of renewable energy: solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal energy. Solar energy is what we get from the sun by using solar panel to generate electricity, or using a thermal power plant by using concave mirrors to focus the light on the water to make the turbine spin. Wind energy is also using windmill and turbines. Hydroelectricity is the method to tolerate wind energy production. Hydro, also known as water power. Then geothermal energy is what.
Please conclude. Please conclude.
So we need to save energy using LED lights, switching off and unplugging devices, lesser water uses, keeping the thermostat at lower temperature using intelligent automated devices, and as I said, using auto motion detected lights so that the lights are not always on. And thank you.
Any question?
No, sir, yes, it mentioned that points that I was expecting.
Sir, one question is there that we told whatever energy is coming, it is we are not utilizing it and it is going back and hitting the earth and causing global warming. So, is there any way if we suppose means in a very unrealistic thing or scenario, we think that if we install solar panels everywhere on earth possible wherever we can. So can we reduce global warming? Because mostly people think we would be using so much of heat then.
Have you got the question?
Yeah, I got it.
We cannot eliminate. But ma'am, would that be really considerable? Because if that is so, that's
See, the thing is, if tomorrow a mega volcano erupts and there is a million tons of acid in the air, there would be a global winter. So, global warming is a natural phenomenon. We cannot really stop it, but we can make it minimize it because the earth is not in our control. We can just do a part in it.
We cannot tame nature.
Yeah, we cannot tame the earth.
pollution is elimination, not elimination. Cut.
One question I have.
That's it. Pollution is
The
addition.
thing is that if you equate pollution with conservation of energy, is it correct?
Not really. But pollution is a thing that is a side effect of it. We are not using.
Conserving energy for the pollution.
No, sir, it's not particularly the reason. Pollution
They
is.
are alternatively related.
No,
If we don't conserve energy, then it will be pollution.
Pollution is a byproduct.
Yes.
Yes. Pollution, we cannot. Pollution, global warming will always be there. We can just hope that it's reduced because we are throwing plastic and we cannot really replace plastic with paper bags. See, it's, because if we are carrying a fish, we cannot always like no. Most people will not carry a tiffin box with them to put the fish in it. So paper bags
Quality things
are
cannot be taken away.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Extremely good presentation. Very informative. And last one, Amritendu. 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 Khara. Amritendu Khara.
Okay, my British.
एक माइक दीजिए माइक दीजिए आपके बाकी
Anyone there?
So good afternoon to all the faculties and happy Energy Conservation Day. Today I will talk about a general purpose that what India has done for our energy conservation. So, welcome to our presentation. Energy conservation is the effort to reduce wasteful energy consumption by using fewer energy services. Actually, the main motive is we have to reduce the energy consumption by using some alternatives or some better ways of using the energy. So energy conservation can be achieved through energy efficiency, which has a number of advantages, including a reduction in greenhouse gas emission, a smaller carbon,
Please don't disturb him. Please don't disturb.
a carbon
Let me complete.
and cost of water and energy saving. So now going in depth with this quotation by Tom Allen, energy conservation is the foundation of energy independence. Here I have mentioned 2 points how India has contributed towards our energy.
What is your font size?
Sir, it is very small.
There is only 8. 8 or 10.
Nearly.
Nearly 8. I have a
Yes,
problem
it
in
will
my
not
eye.
fit
I cannot catch it.
I'm reading now. In India, government passed energy conservation bill on 2001 for utilization of energy and conservation of the same. By this act, it is mandatory for energy intensive sector to get their energy audit done by an energy auditor. In 2030, means by 2030, India's dependence on energy imports is expected to exceed 53% of the country's total energy consumption. In 2009 and 10, the country imported 159.26 million tons of crude oil, which amount to 80% of its domestic oil consumption. Alongside India, what being a citizen of India we can do, sir? Always turn off the lights and electrical appliances when not in use. Use energy saving alternatives like LEDs instead of CFL and increase awareness on benefits of energy conservation. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Join us, citizen.
Okay. Anybody have any question? Any question? Good presentation. Okay. Good presentation. Should always encourage small and conscious presentation.
Ma'am, thank you for organizing this event. Thank you.
Hey, what's up? Hey, go sit down, sit down.
Just one thing.
Ma'am, just yesterday, ma'am, started from So now we are at the end of this day. Now we are at end of this event. So we'll announce the rank holders of the poster presentation. The first one is the Baucha. Second, Deepak and his group. Second, Monish Gupta and his group. Monish Gupta and his group. Third is Nitish Chakraborty and his group. And all the certificates will be sent to your mail. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks for organizing this meeting. Thank you all.